But I am going over standard and task alignment. I don't want to hover over you and give you a boring presentation, but I want to give us an opportunity to kind of practice with standard and task alignment. So I'm really corny and I'm over the top. So I did a little intro video. Good afternoon. It's your girl Jay Mosby, and I am reporting to you live from Zone 12 Collaborative today. Woo-hoo! As educators, we have a difficult task: standard and task alignment. However, hopefully by the end of this session, you will have some clarifying information that will help you plan better, and then take this information back to your teachers so that we all can be 5 stars in Zone 12. Stay tuned. Newsflash. Oh, and another thing. I want you educators to know that this will not be your typical professional development. In fact, I am visiting my people here at Monsters Inc. I'm so excited to be here. But I want you all to really get some takeaways from this session. I want us to be able to dig deep into aligning our tasks with our standards to make sure that we are making gains and making sure that we are getting the most bang for our buck. Our kids in Zone 12 are gonna smash. We are smashing the 10 Ready assessment. And so as you can see, I'm extra. I know it. I really am extra. However, my title for this session, wait for it. They're waiting, is Standards Drip Too Hard, Don't Drown. Standards drip too hard, don't drown. Isn't that amazing? Okay, so you hear my theme music in the background. So don't drip too hard, don't stand too close. My kids taught me that song. I have no idea about that. However, I want you to pay attention, get your takeaways. I want us to have fun and learn together. Zone 12. Let's sit back, relax, collaborate, and enjoy this professional development opportunity entitled Standards Drip Too Hard, Don't Drown. Stay tuned. I'm really over the top and I'm corny, but when I was thinking about standard and task alignment, I don't know if you all are familiar with the song It's Drip Hard, right? And so as a kid saying, don't drip too hard, I thought about how the standards, well, the rapper, Lil Baby and Gunna, that's who's responsible for the song. They're talking about all this money, of course, you know, this is what they rap about, money, and all of this fame, and how it's creating a sea. And so, and they talked about how if people get too close, they're gonna drown, because I got all of this stuff going on. So I thought about standard and task alignment. I thought about standards being your sea, right? Because we got this big sea of standards. And if we are not careful about making sure that the task and the standard is aligned, then we'll drown, right? And so I wanted to make sure that I related my title with the presentation today. So, y'all tell me about aligning the task to the standard. What do you already know?
Well, I guess you're saying what does it need to help the students meet by performing the task?
Right.
As it's presented in the standard.
Right.
So that's kind of what I look at it as, when it's just a thing you have to look at and plan.
Mm-hmm.
So, but of course, the culminating thing is what I'm concerned about. I tend to plan backwards.
Absolutely.
So I'm thinking about at the end, what do I want them to do? So then I decide what's the first thing they need to do, what's It's the first tool they need to have. Or
Absolutely.
the skill polish.
And that's exactly how we should be thinking. You definitely have to plan with the end in mind, and then go backwards. So we here at BTW we undergo extensive training with standard and task alignment, and we backwards plan. That's exactly how we plan. We start with the task, then we start with the next level, and then the lowest level, of course. You have anything?
No, just making sure that the different aspects of the standard match the things that you're doing in class. So if the standard is about finding key details to support a main idea, then they should be able to both have activities that determine the main idea and also identify key details with some kind of activity.
Absolutely, and generally what, cause I'm a former English teacher, and what I used to do is I try to bait them in first with something, right? So it may be lyrics to a song or something like that, if I'm teaching theme or main idea, whatever. Bait them in, and then I give them some complex text. I kind of juggle it around just to make sure that they reach that get the concept correct, you know. And so once you get that done, then we'll be able to move forward. So I pulled this standard, 9 and 10, determine the theme or central idea of a text and analyze its development and provide an objective or critical summary, right? Seems fairly easy, right? But there are a few things that kids need to do here, right? And so what I want you to do is kind of identify the action verbs of the standard. What are your action verbs?
Determine.
Determine is one, absolutely.
Analyze.
You gotta analyze.
Provide.
And then provide. And so, in one of our AP meetings, they had a guest speaker, and he talked about how he teaches kids some of these Bloom's terms that they see on their test. So he said one thing that stuck out with me was that we see analyze all the time. So when kids see analyze on the test, or when they see analyze period, they should automatically know what it means. So he asked, are we teaching them these words and how to, break them down? So, and that's what I tell the team here. What does analyze mean? We gotta break it down. You understand? So it's so easy, so they'll know that, okay, well, analyze means I gotta break this down, Miss Mosley. And so, that's correct. You got your action verbs.
But they need to know what to break down.
What to break down. Absolutely.
Yeah. So in this standard, in this standard, when they determine the central idea, and I'm saying central idea because they or
Absolutely.
From their first read, they kind of start thinking about that, but then they gotta analyze the development. So I always, when I used to teach in middle school, and one of the things with standards, I always made them think about the directions, which the standards are in the directions.
Right.
And most of the things that they do is to use the verb, but also if you know the verb, so what am I gonna do this verb to? So if you tell me analyzes the verb, analyze what? So we don't want them analyzing the central idea.
Absolutely.
We want them to analyze the development of that.
Right.
So that means when you're breaking down how it was made, basically. So that's the kind of language I would do during standard discussion.
Absolutely. That's absolutely correct. Yeah. And so you have identified that. And so what we usually do here in our lesson plan, and even when I'm doing planning sessions with teachers, what we do is color code those things. And so when I'm meeting with English, they say, okay, well, one party is to determine the thing. Then I gotta analyze its development. Then I gotta provide an objective or critical summary. You understand what I'm saying? So we color code it so that it can match the task. Does that make sense? And so we try to make sure that we have tackled all of the parts of the standard, because teachers tend to just focus on thinking. And I had some teachers, novice teachers to do that. We just focusing on things, It's more to the standard, so we have to be careful about just focusing on one thing when it's a multi. But what about the thing? Right. So that's the easy part. And so we have already signing sheets with y'all. We have identified the parts of the standards. And so I created a task. It's a little corner, I just had to do, but like I was telling you guys before, I kind of almost bait kids in the beginning, just so that I can teach the foundation of those things, and then I shift to your more complex texts. That's usually what I do. And so using the lyrics to Every Time I Close My Eyes by Babyface, and I promise y'all, it took me about 2 hours because I started with the Billboard Top 100 songs. And I went through and I was looking at lyrics to the songs that we listen to now. Well, the kids really listen to now. And I was like, everybody got no theme or nothing. Everybody just singing, you know, or rapping. But of course I reverted back to some of the songs that I like. And then, okay, so they're gonna write a critical summary, and then they're gonna analyze how the theme develops through the song. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't take a lot of thought. But we just have to make sure that we include the parts of the standard in the text. If that makes sense. And so I have given you guys a sheet of standards. I just pulled one of the pages of the grade level standards. And so I want you to just kind of filter through and look at those standards that have multiple tasks almost, just like we did in the last slide. Doesn't matter, and you can yell them out at me or whatever. And I think, for the most part, I don't know. And we can, and it's safe to say that none of the standards have just one thing. You know, it used to be, standards used to be written where it just lists one thing. But we don't have that now. And teaching kids to think critically and synthesize and evaluate the work that they're doing.
Well, I think they realize that even if you have a single standard, to perform it, there's still going to be multiple things that the students have to do. So why not, I would like to say, make the standard a little bit more meatier, where you are repetitiously having the students to do these things.
And that was going to be my next question. That if, are you guys pulling out all of these things in one piece of literature? Or are you, you know,
you have to have, I think, some variety, because texts are written by people for different purposes.
Absolutely.
And so I like, and am drawn in by what you're saying, because music is something that is central to everybody. And so you can, you know, kind of get their attention and focus on something, you know, lyrics that we don't find as text too often for the curriculums, to bring that in to set them up for the complex text.
Absolutely.
That they might shy away from, instead of like, bam, here this text is, you know, in your face, is really not as interesting to them.
Right.
But if you're able to take maybe something that's non-instructive as song lyrics and have them to break it down, so analyze it, determine something about it, that it's got a central idea or a theme going on, and then be able to write to summarize what song with 3 or 4 verses.
Absolutely.
So you're actually giving the students, the learner, practice that over time will become kind of like a second nature, and especially as they progress.
Absolutely.